Alright, hello and welcome to episode 17 of the Retro City Rampage Clone in Unity tutorial, which will be up a bit later actually, because, well, quite later, like maybe Wednesday, because my internet's fucked, but you won't know that because it'll be Wednesday. It's actually Saturday now. But yeah, today we are starting the part on world building, so I will just give you a quick glimpse of how it is. I'll just have to move out of the way for a second, but yeah. So yeah, as you can see, we've got like a little like roundabout thingy and a crossroads which are built. And you see how the pedestrians, they're walking around, they're trying to stick to the pavements and whatnot. And you can see the A-style grid that we're using just to like mark out where they can and can't go. And yeah, so I will be going over how this all works. First things first, let's get on to the actual building of the world. Yeah, sure, save that. So, I'll just have to rename this to Tile Master Field. Basically, we are using the Tile Master that we used in the Hotline Miami tutorial series, the CM Tools Tile Master, which I can show you in the asset store as soon as I can remember where it is. Hopefully it'll keep me logged in. Just be a minute. Yep, you can see it. So I think I had it in my messages somewhere. Yes, Tile Master, a 2D tile set thingy, painter by Caliber Mensk. Yeah, so basically this is a free extension where you basically just draw your sprite sheet and you import it into this. You place it in a resources and tile sets folder here. And what you do is you divide it up into tiles. So as you can see, I've got multiple tiles just drawn out here. So you've got like edges of the pavement, road and stuff. And yeah, and basically then you import it into this. So you've got all these multiple sprites. And this allows you to paint them and like add layers and stuff. So I have a separate layer of the road and the pavement, which, yeah, so if I go onto the pavement here, I can just like start drawing. You can either do, yeah, and then I can erase them as well. So I just get rid of that and can box paint as well. So if you need to do a big area, this is a bit laggy, but it works. So see, you can make boxes. Yeah, so that's that. I find it quite handy. Yeah, and we can use similar methods for making buildings, but I'll do that later. So once you've built your area that you want to do, so let's say, I'll actually just make a change just to show you. So I'm just going to add, say, like a few extra bits here, which weren't in the original one. So like, say, a little bit going off the edge, so, you know, whatever. No real reason for it, but whatever. So we can save that. And we're just going to rename this to World Build Example. And now we are going to take this. I've got a prefab already set up. So you see how I changed scenes from like this one doesn't have all the NPCs and the player and whatnot. That's actually using this prefab that I set up of basically just this. So if we drag this down into here, it'll change the prefab, and if we reload the testing scene, save that, we've now got these little bits here that weren't there before. So you can update the component, the world section, in a separate scene, so you don't have to interfere with all the all the NPCs and whatnot. And then if it changes, then you can go. So if it changes, then sorry. You can do it and edit it in another scene, so it's just more convenient and simpler to do. And if you make a mistake, you can undo it, and you don't have to move anything in that's existing in the scene or whatnot. It's all just really convenient. One little glitch is that sometimes when you close the tab, that basically when you close it, when you want to go into another scene and do like moving stuff like game objects around the scene, it won't stop running the scripts properly. So you'll still get a little box that allows you to draw sprites and tiles and whatnot. So basically, what you'll either have to restart Unity or just like play the scene, and then it should stop. So yeah, that is basic world building for it. So you just draw your tiles out and mapping and whatnot, and yeah. So what else is there? There's also like defining where we can and can't walk. So as you can see, I'll just quickly restart. So as you can see, the pedestrians are tending to walk along the pavements and like crossing the road at specific places that I've marked out. You can see by these red squares. This basically marks out like where pedestrians can and can't go, and this is done using the A-star pathfinding and a bit of wizardry. Well, I wouldn't call it wizardry, but whatever. So as you can see, where is A-star objects? There it is. So basically, we've got the grid. It's 30 by 17, just as a small example for this section that I'm showing you. What you want to do is use 2D physics, and we're using collision testing and raycasts because you can't use anything else with 2D. And the mask has both the collision layer, which is basically objects that you can collide into, like the vending machines or something like that, and the pathfind define layer, which I don't know. I think I added this in before, but I'm just gonna go over it again because it's quite useful here. That's the gun vending machine. Sorry, trying to turn back. What I've done is made a load of road markers, which basically mark the edges between the pavements and the roads. So as you can see, if I just hover over all these are just colliders on the pathfind defined layer. So, sorry if you can hear the police in the background. Loads of feds. Oh well. So basically, these are just empty game objects with a box collider on them that mark out the edges of the pavement. Yeah, which, and then have small gaps when you want them to cross over the road or something and whatever. And what this is sort of like I've been explaining with is like basically to keep like the pathfinding on the same grid. So even with this, the NPCs can walk around and get to places, but they can only cross over in certain places, like in defined places like this gap here and this gap here and whatnot and this gap here. That's to like give the illusion of like them wanting to stay on the pavement because they're not in a car, they're walking and whatnot. And even if we do have like some who want to go to alert a player, they'll try and get to a car and they'll try and chase you, and the cars will tend to stay on the road bit because they can't get onto the pavement to get a path because of the bits blocking you from getting a path. So yeah, I hope that makes sense. So I think there is a guy. Yep, two guys here. We get into a car. And you can see they go down to a car, and even with the car tends to stay on the road. Like even if we drive over, I think they will try and stay on the road. Usually, they may sometimes go if they're like on the pavement if they are trying to drive at us or like ram us, but whatever. And as you can see, so yeah, that is basically how it works. It's not like actually defined that the cars can't use the pathfinding on the pavement and pedestrians can't go on the road. But by having these markers, it like restricts the pathfinding algorithm because it chooses the shortest route that it can. And since it can't go over these borders, then hopefully it should be the shortest path and it keep them on the pavements and whatnot. It works to some extent. If it doesn't work, like when I've expanded the map and whatnot, then I will rewrite something. But yeah. And I'll show you just the physics 2. We had to edit the physics 2D settings to make sure that nothing could collide with this. It was just these road markers. It's just a way for the A-star pathfinding item object to detect it. So what we did was we go to project settings under edit and physics 2D. And this is basically the layer collision matrix. It defines what can collide with what, basically, in the world. So as you can see, we've got a pathfind define layer here, which is a bit cut off. So we've got that unticked with everything, which it basically can't detect anything. It can't, anything on these layers won't collide with the pathfind define layer, objects on the pathfind define layer which have colliders. But the raycasts can still hit it, so it can still mark it as a no-go area for objects with the 2D pathfind script on it. So that's good. Also, another thing I did, which was because the AI were having problems with colliding with each other, where they just like, say you have two enemies walking at each other, or two NPCs, they wouldn't be able to walk past each other because they just collide and stop walking and whatnot. So I've made a new layer called NPCs, and on that physics 2D settings. So as you can see, they don't. Well, they should collide with the collision layer actually. So yeah, that's right. Basically, they don't collide with the Pathfinder Define layer as normal. They don't collide with the NPC weapons, which is to make sure that the raycasting for attacking and detecting the player still works. And they don't collide with NPCs either. So that is to make sure that basically they can walk through each other and it doesn't like get loads of enemies clumped up in one area, which is basically just to make it run smoother or look better or whatever. Train. And yeah. If this does have a problem with like detection and whatnot, then hopefully I can fix any bugs that come with that. So I'll test it a bit more before next episode. But yeah, I think that's it. Just for the start of world building. So we've got using the CM Tools sprite thingamabob, CM Tools Tile Master to build the world, and we've got like different defining pathfindings using the physics 2D settings and A-star to just like define where they can and can't walk, so they stick to the pavements and whatnot. And yeah, that is what we did today. No actual scripting, so you got it easy. Isn't that good? Oh, and you'll also need the A-star pathfinding project, which is aarongramberg.com/ just Google A-star pathfinding Unity and you'll be able to find a website. It's free, it's really good, lad. You should totally get it. So yeah, cheers for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, go play Loud or Quiet, and buy my Hotline Miami tutorial asset things, because they are really good. £1.50 or your regional equivalent, and since Brexit, the pound has hit the shitter, so it'll be dead cheap. Alright, bye.